The county, the price of these recyclables fluctuates constantly in the market, as I understand it. And I've been told that especially the sale of paper, the price has gone up considerably of late. Apparently, China is buying boatloads of scrap paper, I'm told. How does the county, doesn't the county have any way to benefit from the increase in the revenue that Metro Waste derives?
Through you, Mr. President, it is an entire program, so that in the one commodity that you mentioned certainly may be a revenue generator, but because we have a commitment to the environment and taking other recyclable materials out of the waste stream, not all of those produce revenue. And so if you look at the whole program, this has been deemed to be quite beneficial to the county. In the past, it has actually been an expense to the county, whereas we believe now we are in a position to break even.
So the recycling program doesn't cost us anything at this point?
No, under the new contract, we anticipate it to be a break even with this Metro Waste.
One further question, Mr. President. Does Metro Waste regularly, by that I mean quarterly or something, have to give the county financial reports or something that would tell the county how they're doing, so that if perchance the recycling market went wild and they were making a killing, that we would know about it?
Sure. We do get reports based on tonnage on a regular basis, and we monitor that.
Okay. So through you, Mr. President, you feel the county is protected in terms of the reasonableness of the revenue that Metro is retaining?
Sure. Again, looking at the program through you, Mr. President, in its entirety, all of the different materials, some of which do generate revenue, some do not. So if you look at it in its entirety, this is, in our estimation, very favorable to the county.
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item carries.
080296.
Move it, Mr. President.
Moved by Legislator Fountain, second by Legislator Barker. Any discussion on the motion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item carries.
080298. Authorized contract.
Move it, Mr. President.
Moved by Legislator Cassetti, second by Legislator Fountain. Any discussion on the motion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item carries.
080298. Bonding resolution.
Move it, Mr. President.
Moved by Legislator Cassetti, second by Legislator LaFountain. Any discussion on the motion? Mr. Haney.
Thank you, Mr. President. There's really two aspects to this item. One is the airport project itself, which I don't think anyone has any clue with. The other aspect of it is that it is a significant bonding resolution. And as we're all aware, the finance markets have, to say the least, been in turmoil, some would say chaos, in the last few weeks, the last couple of months. In that light, Mr. President, before I cast my vote for this sizable bond resolution, I have a couple of questions I'd like to ask. The first question is whether in the last couple of months or anything, the county has had to sell any debt in the capital markets.
Through the President, yes, the county has actually refinanced some debt the earlier part of this year. I believe it was closed approximately June, or middle part of June. And we have issued a ban around the same time frame that was closed in July.
Was that refinancing, the refinancing we approved back in April or something like that?
Through the President, that's correct, yes.
Okay. How successful were we in that? At the time the legislature approved it, we projected we were going to save nearly $4 million over the life of the bonds. How did that turn out?
Through the president, the cash flow savings was approximately $2.5 million, slightly less than what.
Slightly less. So we haven't had to enter the capital markets since July?
Through the president, that's correct. Just to add on to that, as you're aware, this is the normal time frame when we are going out for our revenue anticipation note.
That was my next question, whether we had to go out for our revenue anticipation note. We've not done that.
Presently, through the president, we issued our preliminary official statement this afternoon to the market on the negotiated sale for the revenue anticipation note with an anticipated closing date of October 23rd.
So you're doing it in negotiated rather than competitive bid?
Through the president, that's correct. Based on the information that you provided earlier on the current capital market issues that we face, the best advice we could get from not only some of the bankers that we deal with, but also our financial advisors, was a negotiated sale would be the proper route to go at this point in time.
Have they yet told you what the rate will be on that?
Because through the president, the POS was issued this afternoon, the underwriter that we were dealing with was unable to secure any type of even a range of a rate at this point, and thought probably the latter part of this week we would know better.
But they have, through you, Mr. President, they have indicated that they will buy the issue?
Through the president, they've given us as much of a guarantee as they can of selling $80 million of revenue anticipation note.
Do you have any sense for what, through you, Mr. President, do you have any sense what the interest rate might be on the RAN?
Through the president, dealing with our underwriter who's recently closed a deal with the state of Massachusetts where they had more lenders than money they had to necessary to borrow. They projected somewhere in the 3.5% to 4% range. It was 3.45, I believe, for the closing on the Massachusetts deal. And they said that there's been some fluctuation in the marketplace. We're not dealing with the exact same type of issue here. So we could be in the neighborhood of 3.5% to 4% probably.
Well, that'd be very, through you, Mr. President, that'd be very good given this market.
I take it.
Through the president, that's correct, yes.
When is the next, do we have some point at which we have to roll bond anticipation notes over or do any actual bonding in the near future?
Through the president, we would, the normal bond anticipation note schedule would be the latter part of December for this upcoming year. We don't anticipate issuing any bonds at this point in time for this year. That's generally a 2-year cycle that we go through that. So that would be next December would be the bond date.
And through you, Mr. President, may I assume that you don't anticipate a problem with the band sale in December?
Through the president, we're monitoring this on a daily basis at this point. Again, our financial advisors and the folks that we're dealing with down in New York don't believe that additional access will be freed up by that point in time. So we're not anticipating any problems, but again, this is such a different situation than I've ever faced and most of my colleagues out there that I've spoken with have faced. We're all kind of sitting on pins and needles as we go to the market with anything.
So I take it from through you, Mr. President, I take it what you're saying, Mr. Adair, is that really, given the chaos in the market, we're at least holding our own.
Through the president, that's correct.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? And carried.
080299, election attributions of first and second.
Moved by Legislator Quattro, second by Legislator Driscoll. Any discussion on the motion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item carries. I'd like to point out to everybody that our next meeting is on Wednesday because the Veterans Day is shifted from Tuesday to Wednesday. So don't show up on Tuesday.